Sports.
Now it's time for Monty in the Morning.
Hey, yo, happy Thursday, April 22nd, 2021. The Monty Show is live on YouTube. Make sure you find us. Find us right now. TheMontyShow.com. MONTY, TheMontyShow.com. No matter where you're listening. Are you listening on a podcast right now? Bless you, my friend. Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Stitcher Radio, you name it, The Monty Show. MONTY, The Monty Show. You want to find us on YouTube? Of course you do. Make sure you search The Monty Show on YouTube.
I know you're surprised.
MONTY, The Monty Show. Douche. Or you can simply go to TheMontyShow.com. MONTY, TheMontyShow.com. Please give us a thumbs up and a like. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Again, once we get to 500 subscribers, and we are rapidly approaching 400, once we get to 500 subscribers, we are going to give away an Xbox Series S right here on this very program to one of our subscribers. Once we pass 400, we'll really start telling you how this is going to work, but essentially it's going to be, hey, subscribe, tag us on YouTube, tag us on Insta or Twitter, and tell people you subscribed so that more people will subscribe so that we can be money-grubbing fools, and we'll enter you for a chance to win an Xbox Series S.
I have to say, it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. Pretty legit. The Xbox.
It is. I mean, it's Series S, basically, and if you don't know what a Series S is, essentially it's all cloud-based, and it's a more powerful unit because they don't have a hard drive anymore. You don't store really anything on your Xbox. It basically means that the chipset that powers the box is larger and stronger, and so it's faster. The processor is faster because they have more room for that stuff now. So anyway, here nor there, Xbox Series S coming up. What's up, Hoop Strong? Good morning to you. He's the first commenter on YouTube Live. Make sure you hit subscribe and give us a thumbs up. Let's get to work because we have two big topics to talk about. I think I want to start with the Utah Jazz. And then we're going to get into this LeBron thing that, frankly, is probably not going to be the easiest discussion we've ever had on this show. But we'll talk about that in a minute. The Utah Jazz blow out the Houston Rockets last night, who also have the strip club thing that we're going to talk about in a minute. But I thought this was a really important win for the Utah Jazz, and here's why. The Jazz obviously are without Spida. They're without Donovan Mitchell, who's their guy. And if you know anything about our show and what we've talked about with the Jazz, you know that we're big believers that Spida's the straw that stirs the drink in Utah. And I think without him, there was a lot of questions about the availability of scoring and buckets on this team without Donovan on the floor. Well, I think a lot of those fears have been answered over the last couple of games, and I don't care who it is. What we saw last night was Mike Conley up and down the floor dominating. What we saw last night was Joe Ingles in the corner dropping threes. We saw Jordan Clarkson dropping threes. Rudy Gobert running the floor, finishing in the paint, awkwardly taking an alley-oop and almost getting rejected by the rim. We saw the Utah Jazz, Jake, be the Utah Jazz, and I think that was a really important feeling for this team without Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, I think they've done an excellent job and with adapting to not having him on the floor, and I think that's a credit to Quinn and the coaching staff. You know, I look at, you know, the way this team was playing basketball before the Donovan Mitchell ankle roll injury, and what we saw a lot of, frankly, is Donovan dominating the ball and playing pick and roll with Rudy Gobert. And then if he got caught, he'd kick it out, and then they would take contested threes. And I think, you know, part of the struggle that the Jazz went through earlier in the season when they did, you know, I believe they lost like 4 in a row or whatever that was, you know, that losing streak that they had. I think a lot of those issues just simply were born out of the fact that they were not moving the ball as quickly as they were earlier in the year, and that prevented them from getting the looks that they wanted to get. Now, were they missing wide open looks still? Yes, absolutely. They weren't shooting the ball to the best of their ability, but I think what's so great about what they're doing right now is not that they dominated the Rockets, right? Like everybody expected them to win. It's not really surprising. That's what they should have done. But I'm talking about the game within the game. Watching the Jazz execute on offense, moving the ball, running the floor, basically just doing what they're supposed to be doing at the highest level. I was really pleased to see that last night. I was really pleased to see that this team did not play down to the Rockets. I felt like after the first quarter, the Jazz were pretty much in control for the rest of the game. And the second half was not really in question. So, yeah, I agree. This was an important win. If you're the Jazz, from the perspective of we got to make sure that we keep it going while Mitchell's out. And I still maintain, and I've been asking this question the whole week, what are they going to do once Mitchell comes back? Because I don't think Don is a guy he's not like Kyrie where he constantly has to have the ball in his hands to make a difference. But at the same time, when he does get the ball, and he does get it a lot, he tends to play the two-man game. So I think it'll be really interesting to see this transition, when he comes back, how Quinn Snyder works him and that offense to continue to get those really nice looks for guys like you were just saying, Joe Ingles in the corner, Bogdanovich in the corner, George Niang in the corner, any of these guys that shoot for this team. That's what I'm curious about moving forward.
Yeah, and I think that I wouldn't be curious about that. I think that's what this team is going to be. I mean, you really only have a couple of games on this schedule. Whether that be, I would put Sacramento in there, but I think Minnesota is going to be a difficult matchup. But really, if you look at Denver and Phoenix, those are the two games where you really think to yourself, hey, can this Utah Jazz team beat the Denver Nuggets and the Phoenix Suns without Donovan Mitchell? That's a big question. Now, do we ever get there? I don't know. The Nuggets game's pretty late. If this truly is just a sprain for Donovan, and there's no reason to think it's not, there's no structural damage, as Woj reported. You would think that this would be a Jazz team that's in pretty good shape. But I'll also say this. I saw something out of the Clippers last night that I haven't seen in a very long time, and that is a dominant team that I felt like is the best team in the Western Conference right now without Kawhi Leonard, who you may or may not know is out of the lineup for the Clippers with this bum foot, but Paul George is being an alpha male. And I think if you look at that performance, I think you look at a first half out of Devin Booker last night that was far subpar, did not shoot well, dominated the last 10 minutes of this game, which all killers do. But you got a big win for the Suns. So then I look at all of this and I say, this is exactly why the Jazz needed the kind of game they got last night. And maybe the Houston Rockets were exactly the huckleberry they were looking for. But Jake, when you look at what happened around the Western Conference last night, I think this was even more of an important win for the Jazz.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think I think there's been a lot of talk about the fact that the Clippers are really hitting their stride and starting to come together. Everybody always thinks Clippers, and then they think about the word chemistry. And I think that the Clippers, it's so funny what happens to a guy like Paul George when, he gets more of the ball, when they lean on him more to score, because they don't play a brand of basketball that's really anything near what the Jazz do. So for the Clippers, Paul George getting the looks, getting the reps in the game, filling it up for them, that's what they need him to do. He has been mid-30s every night and close to 10 boards for like the last 10 games. He's been tearing it up. And so when I look at, again, I feel like we always get to this on the show when we talk Jazz right now with where we are in the season. When I project forward and I look at, hey, what's the postseason look like? Who would the Jazz ideally want to see after they, beat the hell out of the 8th seed? I don't want this team to see the Clippers. I don't. I think that would be. I don't think the Jazz would get blown out. I just think it would be a very, very difficult matchup if the Clippers are playing this well.
Yeah, and I think the Clippers will be playing this well. I think, and maybe this is what Paul George needed. Maybe Paul knowing that Kawhi Leonard isn't waiting in the wings. Like, he's injured. He's not coming back for a couple of weeks here. He's not even going to be evaluated for another week. I mean, this is Paul George's club right now. And so my feeling is that puts Paul George in a different state of mind, and it puts him in that alpha dog state of mind that allows him to dominate. It allows him to play. And I know we have crushed Paul George on this show.
Yep.
The Indiana Pacer Paul George is the guy that I've seen the last two games. And last night, I just feel like this Clipper team now is playing its best basketball. By the way, Anthony Davis back tonight for the Lakers. This is another big moment in Dallas. AD back. LeBron's not. He's too busy firing off lying, hypocritical tweets. But anyway, here nor there. The point is, AD is back tonight for the Lakers, who I think have gotten really solid performances, not wins, but they've gotten solid performances out of their bench guys, who I think are all improving. I think if Anthony Davis comes back and he has no residual effects from this Achilles/calf injury he's been rehabbing, I think this is a much better team with AD and Anthony or Andre Drummond on the floor together.
Yeah, I just think that, it's so funny. The Lakers have, it almost feels like the Lakers this year they were given a task, which is, hey, you got to survive 40 games without AD and LeBron, right? Mostly AD, but obviously LeBron too. And we're through that time. We're through that time in their season where they don't have their best players. And I think that they are uniquely positioned to be in the mindset of, hey, we understand we're not the 1 seed. We're not going to care about what seed we are. What we're going to do is we're going to focus on getting our team to 100%, and then we're going to count on the fact that Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and the rest of those guys can go out and beat anybody who's put in front of them because, frankly, they did that last year, And, yes, teams have gotten better. Obviously the league gets better every year. But at the same time, Anthony Davis is still the same unstoppable player that he was last year.
Is he, though?
Yeah, I think
this is a huge question. What is that injury? Because we saw this with Kevin Durant. Oh, it's not his Achilles, it's his calf. And what happened? Mm-hmm. He got hit by a sniper in the finals and everything fell apart. My point is, I don't think we know who Anthony Davis is. I say the same thing about Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is coming back off of a significant injury, and what happened? He can't stay healthy in his legs because rehabbing Achilles/calf injuries is devastating to your legs, your knees, your quads, your hamstrings. All things that guys like Kobe Bryant found out the hard way take a toll on your body. Kevin Durant is now finding out the hard way takes a toll on your body. DeMarcus Cousins, not the same guy he was, not because of the Achilles injury, but you compound an Achilles into a knee injury, and what happens?
Yep.
Now you're not the same guy anymore. Klay Thompson.
Yep.
I'm asking the same question about Klay, who had a knee now into an Achilles.
But I think the difference for Klay is that Klay doesn't need the explosion to be effective. He doesn't need that. All he does is
he does
jump.
need
That's
lift,
it.
though.
That's it. Well, maybe.
He's not dunking on dudes. I would agree with that.
He's not playing the way Kevin Durant plays or DeMarcus plays. I mean, he is a shooter, and that's why I say I don't think that the knee thing I'm not worried about. I think the ACL injury in sports in today's world is so commonplace now. The medicine has progressed so far along. The rehab has progressed so far along that I don't really worry about Klay in that aspect. What I worry about is just, okay, you suffered this injury. Okay, did that take how many years off that season, off of your career did that take? So did it take 3 years off your career? Can you be the same guy for the next 5 years and you and Curry can ride off into the sunset and basically retire at the same time? What does that look like? That's the only question that I have for Klay. I think he will be fine.
Hoops Strong says, I want Mitchell to fully heal before he comes back. He should also see our passing game, meanwhile, which has improved without him on the floor.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, that was true. Jake's point yesterday.
And I think that the question really is, in terms of Donovan's injury, is what are you willing to sacrifice to ensure that he comes back 100%? Because right now, it's not like you have a 5-game lead in the West. I'm not saying that your lead is in jeopardy. I'm not saying that, right? You have just enough pad where if you just take care of business, you're fine.
Well, but the thing that I think stands out to you is that the Phoenix Suns aren't going anywhere.
They're not.
The Clippers are getting much better.
That's a hell of a win last night for the Phoenix Suns, man.
Ishmael Beck Nielsen says, hey, guys, been watching and subscribing since you started 3-4 weeks ago. Sad thing is I live in Denmark and GMT +2 time zone, but finally caught a live from you guys. Well, I'm glad you're here.
Appreciate that, man. Really
good to see you,
appreciate
man.
that. Thank you.
I love your content, honest take on the Jazz. I've been a Jazz fan since 2014. I believe I am the only one from Denmark cheering for the Jazz.
Let's go.
Yes. Hoop Strong says, love from India. Look at the international
Dude,
crowd
I love
this
it,
morning.
man.
You're the most realistic Jazz fans ever who wouldn't sugarcoat anything. Accountability, LOL.
Yeah.
Forgotten Soul says, Kawhi is out. What is the actual hell is going on with the league? Come on, basketball gods. Everyone is getting injured. Well,
Yeah,
I'm telling you, this is because of the short offseason.
And this is what the players were complaining about. When everybody criticized the players, this is what they're complaining about. And I think that, just take LeBron. Like, we're going to talk about him in a different light here in a minute, but just look at his career overall. He's been a remarkably reliable player. I mean, has not had a major injury, has not had the Achilles done for the year injury in his career. And frankly, I don't think that would have happened this year had someone not fallen on his damn leg.
Yeah.
So, I think that this year is a couple of things. I think this year, yes, it is exemplifying the fact that the shorter offseason combined with the condensed schedule really affects injury rate in the NBA. But I also think that it should make us appreciate guys like LeBron, the basketball player, for the fact that they are incredibly reliable. And I'm telling you, the non-contact injury, the Jamal Murray, the Kevin Durant injury, that doesn't happen to LeBron James. And I think we need to appreciate that fact.
Yeah. Totally agree with that. Good morning to our guy, Lopes fan Gabe. Says, my dude, Lopes baseball all the way up.
Yeah, dude.
Hey, really since the Pepperdine loss, that series loss to Pepperdine, this has been a different team. They dominated New Mexico State. I think they just split with Arizona State. Oh, my goodness. By the way, did anybody notice there was a little bit of a transfer in ASU basketball to GCU? Anybody? I like cherries. Anyway, the point is, if you're in Phoenix, really, if you're in this country, you're in this world, and you don't know about Grand Canyon baseball, you really should. GCU baseball, GCU basketball, obviously. I'm telling you, Gabe's been on this train for a long time, and we've been telling you since the now departed Dan Marley was on our show in Phoenix. I can't just say former GCU basketball coach Dan Marley, who only called the show when they would win and never when they would lose. And he
we're not available now.
Yeah,
please leave your name and phone number after the beep.
Coach, it's time. It's time for the Dan Marley show. You got blown out by 30 last night. Are you going to come on the show?
No, I guess not.
No, I'm not. No. So they fired him for it because they don't want to upset Monty. Anyway, the point is, GCU baseball all day. I agree with that. Forgotten Soul says LeBron never gets injured.
Yeah.
And he says, I don't watch baseball. Well, okay. Well, I'm telling you, the shortened schedule is a lot of the reason you're seeing guys getting hurt.
Yeah.
And I think it's a lot of the reason that you're seeing, what is Denver with a fully healthy Jamal Murray? Well, we don't know because he was in the bubble and played grueling playoff series last year. And now there's pictures of him coming out yesterday after his ACL torn surgery repair thing happened.
Dude.
He's look at all the major injuries that happened this year. It's attrition. The Lakers, LeBron and AD, it was only a matter of time until those guys got injured because they've played so many games.
And this is an Olympic year.
Yeah, exactly right. And you can put millions of dollars into your body. At some point, you're going to figure out, it doesn't matter what you spend, Father Time is undefeated.
Yeah.
And you can eat well, you can work out hard like LeBron. Nobody takes better care of their body than LeBron.
Yeah.
And he's going to be out now with this high ankle sprain. It just is a product of the pandemic.
That said, what happens when, let's just assume that, the return of Anthony Davis goes fine, they ramp him up, everything's cool, okay, cool, he's healthy again, we ain't got to worry about it anymore. He comes back, LeBron comes back, what happens if they win the title this year, even though they had the injuries? I think that'd be really saying something.
That would be saying something. And Terrence says, Monty, are you not going to sit here and quote-unquote slurp book? Okay, more slurping references. Thank you. Appreciate that. No, actually, I'm not. Thibault took him down last night. Okay.
I love this, dude.
Can we address this once and for all, please? Can we address this once and for all? Thibault, I like Jody Ayler, Fox Sports 910 Phoenix. But he's talking about how Thibault is the Booker killer. No, he's not. It was one game. Booker had a tough shooting half, right? Booker finished the game last night, and I need to pull up the box.
It was like 19-3.
19 points, 3 rebounds, 7 assists. 0 of 3 from 3, 6 of 14 from the floor. Where was Thibault in the last 10 minutes of the game when Book was dominating? Oh, that's right. When Booker is Booker, nobody's going to lock him down. It's Kobe, it's Jordan, it's LeBron, it's all the best scorers in basketball. I don't care who you put in front of them. They're going to score.
Allen Iverson.
They're going to score. Nobody's locking down Devin Booker. That win last night, 116-113 Phoenix over Philly, was as statement game as you're going to get at this time of the year. I mean, to dominate the way that Booker dominated the last 10 minutes of that game, please don't run this garbage about Thibault.
Yeah.
He's a nice young player. He didn't score a single point in the game. Booker hit 5, 6, 7 critical shots, or was part of 5, 6, 7 critical shots down the stretch last night. Dime piece, that fadeaway jumper off the baseline.
That's beautiful.
Oh, come on.
Beautiful.
Like, Thibault didn't lock him down. That drives me crazy. And yes, I'm a Booker apologist. That's my favorite player. That's my guy. Yes, thank you. I'm perspiring talking about it. Anyway, tell me who's got a better fade in the NBA than Book? I mean his hair, not his jumper. The point is, listen to me. Devin Booker's a superstar, and I know that you and I will disagree on this. Jake said to me this morning, oh, well, if you don't score for the first 86 minutes of the game, how can you be a star? Kevin Durant scores. It's like, dude, do you not remember the finals or the Western Conference Finals against Houston? Everybody talked about how James Harden was like 0 for 49 from 3. Mm-hmm. I think it was actually 0 for like 27.
It was.
Kevin Durant wasn't exactly lighting it up in that series.
Yeah, whatever, man.
Every scorer goes through it.
I'm just telling you, Book goes through it too
Kevin
much.
Durant.
Book goes through it too much.
I mean, if you look at Kevin Durant,
it's Philly on the road. I want 30. Simple as that.
He's
30
KD.
points.
I mean, he's.
By the way,
KD
rolled out and gave you 20-25 in like 20 minutes.
He's the Slim Reaper.
Just saying, yeah.
Unbelievable.
I'll slurp the guy the entire way.
Tastes like vanilla.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are what you are.
Yeah, I am.
I love him.
I do.
Put a ring on it.
Except when he's DMing with Michael Rappaport.
Oh, my God. Forgotten Soul says, and apparently Trae Young got injured last night. Oh, dude. That's
Just saying. What did I say yesterday? Did I not bring up Trae Young as a guy who is not getting the job done? And then he gets hurt. That's what happens.
A nasty ankle.
That's what happens.
Last night. Yeah, I don't know. Hoop Strong says, TBH, as a Jazz fan.
To be honest,
as a Jazz, thank you.
Yep.
Slim Reaper.
Yep.
As a Jazz fan, I was not confident against Denver after the trade deadline. It is sad, but Jamal's injury changed all that. Jokic can't beat us alone. Well, I would agree with. And
the problem,
again,
though,
I'm telling you, Aaron Gordon's hurt.
Yeah. He may be hurt. Yeah. Here's the thing, though. What you guys are. So here's what's happening. You guys are saying, "Hey, well, now that Jamal Murray's hurt, the Jazz are gonna handle the Nuggets." And I'm telling you that while the Jamal Murray injury is a huge deal and absolutely changes things, I'm telling you nobody handles the Nuggets. That's not how it works with the Nuggets. And I think that I think that I look at Michael Porter Jr., I look at Will Barton, obviously Jokic. I would hope that by playoff time, Aaron Gordon is whatever is going on with him gets figured out. Because I do agree he's not 100% right now. I don't know what he's dealing with. They haven't really said. So if those 4 guys are at 100%, I'm telling you this is not a, hey, Jazz in 5 kind of series. That's not what that is.
No, I would agree with that. And I think, just looking at a lot of these matchups, the Jazz are going to have to fight for their lives no matter who they play. I think the first round they're fine, but I think if you get into the second round pick your poison. If it's, let's say it's the Lakers, the Clippers,
you want to see
Nuggets,
Portland in the second
Suns.
round. You want to see Portland in the second round. That's what you want to see.
Yeah, I think the Lakers handle Portland fine.
Yeah,
I do. I think you don't want to see the Suns. I think you don't want to see certainly you don't want to see the Clippers.
No.
There's once you win the first round, there's no easy out. From here on out, there's no easy path to victory. And I just think when you're playing at that level, I think it is, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens and how we how we deal with the second round matchups are going to determine the NBA championship.
What is a successful playoff run for the Jazz this year?
They have to win a championship. I think it's
so Western Conference Final
enough.
Win is not enough.
Not enough. They've been the best team in the NBA all season long.
Mm-hmm.
If you then go to the second round and lose, I mean, I don't know.
What does that say about the roster then? Let's say that happens. I mean, what do you?
Well, I will maintain, and I'll say the same thing that I've been saying all year long. You have to find a number 2 scorer.
Yeah.
You have to ask yourself, what would this team be like if if Brad Beal were here? What would this team be like if they had made the Aaron Gordon trade? What would this team be like if you had somebody that wasn't Mike Conley that you could count on to be healthy most of the time?
Yeah.
That can really take the load off of Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
You have to upgrade Bojan Bogdanovic. I mean, with all due respect to Bogey, he's played better. This is not a guy that you're going to count on in crunch time because he's still hesitating to shoot threes consistently.
Right.
He doesn't believe that ball's going in when he shoots it. That's what this roster looks like. I don't know when, and I know I'm going to probably get crushed for this. At some point, Rudy Gobert, during this contract, and my guess is it's in the next year or two, he's not going to be a Utah Jazz man anymore.
Yeah.
They're going to move Rudy Gobert. The contract is unsustainable because he's a center who can do one thing, and that is dunk on offense. That's all he's got. And he does it well.
Yep.
He does it well, and I know that he's worked on athleticism, and they've really focused on him getting flexible from the waist down so that he can run, he can stride, he can explode better, and you're seeing the fruits of that labor. He has 0 jump shot. Not a little bit, not a 2-footer, 0 jump shot.
And I would say his block game is non-existent either. He's got very little game on the block.
Brandon Whiteside says, where was Booker in any playoffs? Oh, yeah, he was home calling for Paul's help. Absolutely, I have no defense for that. Devin Booker has not been the alpha dog to take the Suns to the playoffs.
This is the year. I mean, this is the year where I think, from a career standpoint, I mean, even. I think whether you love Book or you hate Book, you can't get around the fact that this year is about him defining who he's going to be as an NBA player. I mean, he's coming into his physical prime now. He's not a young player anymore. He's been in the league long enough now, and it's time to get moving. And I think that, to in all fairness to Book, he hasn't had a team that can go to the playoff until this year. So,
Austin Parkins subscribes to us on YouTube. Appreciate you, Austin. Thanks so much. Mike subscribes on YouTube as well and says, thanks for the great basketball talk. I can't wait to hear you burn LeBron to the ground. Okay.
Yeah, that's coming.
I would go easy with that, but real quick, I want to get to some of your comments because a lot of you are here on the Jazz. Ishmael says, I still think the Nuggets has a big chance against us and anyone. We, the Jazz, need to show it in the playoffs, at least a conference finals, but also would want them to and semi-expect them to win the finals for it to be a successful playoff run. Ding.
Yeah.
I think if that's not your expectation, what are you looking at?
Well, and that's what I'm curious about. I mean, I agree. I mean, I think winning the NBA Finals should be your goal for this team, but I'm curious, like, I love to hear and take the pulse of Jazz fans and what they think, because sometimes they agree with us and sometimes they don't. Like, I honestly, like, no disrespect to Jazz fans, but I wouldn't be surprised if you sat here in the comments and said that, winning the West would be good enough for us, because we haven't, again, no shade, but you haven't done anything recently,
Tyler says, Monty, you're from Chicago, and you're going to sit here and talk about bad basketball teams or that the Jazz should win the championship. Who's the hypocrite now? How am I being a hypocrite?
What does it have anything to do with the Bulls, dude? Like,
what are you talking about?
See, that, you know what that is? You know what that is? That's hot take guy.
Yeah.
Hot take guys in the comments.
Do you watch games? Do you watch games? Do you watch anybody but Slim Reaper?
You think you know it all.
Yeah, you think you know it all, right? Mm-hmm. Come on. I have no shame when it comes to the Chicago Bulls.
Jerry Reinsdorf is definitely one of the worst owners in Major League Baseball and in the NBA.
Yeah, I think it's terrible. Connor says, finally, you guys are on topic. Talk Jazz every day or I'm not coming back. Well,
then you ain't coming back, because we're not talking Jazz every single day for the rest of our existence.
And somebody asked about, we're based in Forgotten Souls, I think it was, said, if you're Phoenix residents, how do you how come you watch the Jazz? Well, first of all, we're Salt Lake City residents. We live in South Jordan, Utah. We used to live in Phoenix. We have our fan base, for those of you who don't know, our fan base essentially is Chicago, LA, Phoenix, Utah. And we have a ton of Jazz fans that watch this channel.
And by the way, before Phoenix, we lived in Utah. So it's not like we just moved here.
Yeah, absolutely right. No, I can't. Okay. Jim, I cannot read your sexually charged tweet about Devin Booker.
Just take it nice and easy, okay? Just relax.
And my guess is that's going to get flagged at some point. Danny says, I really appreciate that you guys are so honest about the Suns. It is disappointing that Devin Booker can't get it done in the clutch. He got locked last night.
See, I don't agree that he got locked. Everybody keeps saying this. He hit big shots at the end of the game. My issue is not this whole Thibault narrative about how Thibault locked him up and all this trash. Devin Booker, the simple truth of it is, Devin Booker didn't get it done last night from the perspective of he gave you 19 points. That is not good enough by anybody's standards. That should have been a 30-point-a-night game right there. But what I do disagree on with these comments, and we just talked about it, so sorry if this is repetitive. Dude, he hit big shot after big shot after big shot towards the end of the game. And I can't for the life of me understand why people keep saying, oh, well, Thibault locked him up. Great, you did it in the third quarter. How about all the shots that Devin Booker made to just absolutely dagger the Sixers time and time again, dude? Like
to seal the win.
It's amazing to me. And why? What I also love is the fact that everyone wants to sit here this morning and criticize Devin Booker. Why are we not criticizing Chris Paul for missing that free throw? If he makes the free throw, Joel Embiid doesn't have an opportunity to throw a Hail Mary and double rim it out.
Bro, how did that ball not go in?
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh my God! Joel Embiid's a freak of the world. I'm telling you. And by the way, it seems like every day we have a new MVP candidate on this show. I still maintain Nikola Jokic should be the NBA MVP. Steph is number 2, but I don't know how Embiid's not a strong contender for that.
Because he's hurt. He's hurt constantly.
Too much, yeah.
That's why.
I would agree with that. Ian says Book's shots at the end felt bigger because of how much he struggled the whole game. Oh, I agree with that.
And that's my biggest thing. I don't like Book as much as you like Book, but there's no doubt that the guy is a big shot maker, and he needs to when I say that Devin Booker needs to kind of like go to the next level, I don't just mean winning playoff games. What I mean is that if you want to be a superstar in this league, you want to be considered a superstar in this league, I'm talking about every single night, you got to be putting up at least 25 and at least 8 rebounds. That is the absolute minimum.
You have to be the reason your team wins.
You have to
and
be.
if they lose, Kyrie last night.
Yeah.
Nets lose, Kyrie has a monster game. Like I get that. Hoop Strong says I definitely prefer Booker over Mitchell taking the last shot.
100%. 100%.
I agree with that.
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. I don't know how to pronounce this name, so if I crush this name, I love you. Thank you for being here. I apologize in advance. Masaji Swiderski.
Who the fuck are you?
Bro, I don't know how to pronounce your name.
Who the fuck is that guy?
He's a Knicks fan. He says,
Here comes the patented Julius Randle take.
What do you think about New York lately? Jokic for MVP. I agree with that. Who the fuck is that guy?
Who the fuck is that
guy? Anyway, I think the Knicks are playing as well as they've played in a decade.
Yeah.
And I think Tom Thibodeau Tim Tebow is coaching.
Who the fuck are you?
Tim Tebow is coaching the Knicks.
Tebow!
Tom Thibodeau deserves a lot of credit because this is a guy that's taken a lot of heat. But I think he's turned the Knicks around. And I obviously... as somewhat of a Laker apologist, I wish Julius Randle was still on the Lakers, but I think he's gone to New York and he's blossomed. I mean, this is a guy that's lost a ton of weight. He has taken his offseason seriously. He's working with Chris Brickley, the world-renowned basketball skills coach, and it's shown. He's hitting threes, he's dunking on bros, and he's making everyone around him better. And I think when you look at the Knicks, Jake, I think they're a real contender to win a playoff series in the East now.
Yeah, and I think that if they can win a playoff series in the East, that would be great for the league. I think that, the Knicks are one of those, franchises that you don't have to love them. You can hate them, but the greatness is that they're in New York. That is obviously one of the biggest markets we have in this country, and it's great for the league when the Knicks are good. Like it's been like there was a I don't remember when it was. It was a while ago. There was a conversation had on a national game in the NBA with the Knicks where they were talking about the fact that my generation and later don't know that the Knicks were like a good team at one point.
An iconic team. Like a foundational team.
Like it's the Knicks, bro. Like I have an appreciation, not as much as you do, not as much as you do, but I just think that they've been bad for so long that having this team come together with, again, with Julius and all those guys, it's just really, really good for the brand of the NBA that they need to win a playoff series.
I think it's huge for the NBA. By the way, Tyler says, here's a shocker. Jake's hating on Donovan Mitchell again.
Yep.
Why don't you just admit it, Jake? You can't stand when the Jazz win.
It's not that I can't stand when the Jazz win. You know what I can't stand?
I can't stand Tyler.
I can't stand the Jazz fan, Tyler, who consistently says that the Jazz are like way better than they are, or is just overall unrealistic about what this team is. The fact is that this team has not proven anything.
Exactly.
They've done really well in the regular season, but if you get bounced in the second round, what am I going to hear from you now, Tyler? What are you going to say about Rudy? What are you going to say about Donovan? What do you have to say about the fact that they lost to the Suns, the Sixers, the Clippers? Like, this is a major concern that I have.
Mr. Swiderski says it's a Polish name, and I've been a Jazz fan since 1997. Sorry to tell you, I just put my license plates back on the Audi. I got my stickers yesterday.
Oh, let's go!
I got my sticker yesterday I just bought it.
By the way, it should be said really quick. I appreciate that guy. Do we know if he's subscribed or not, or if he's just commenting?
Who, Swiderski?
Yeah, the Polish guy.
Well, hey, if you're watching this show, please give us a thumbs up on YouTube and hit subscribe. We're trying to get to 400 and then 500.
I want it.
You can't get to 500 until you get to 400, which
math major over here.
You can't get to 1,000 until you get to. I'm just saying. But I appreciate you being here, Swiderski. I just put my new license plates or my plates on my new Audi SQ5.
Buddy.
We balling. And my license plate, Swiderski, I'm sorry, it's flu game. As you may notice, Mike, and I collect Jordans. Except denim-looking Jordans. Anyway, the point is, I just put the flu game license plate back on my car.
Fire, dude.
So living here in Utah, Forgotten Soul says, it's insane that the Knicks and the Suns have been terrible for the last couple of years, and now they're rolling. I mean, they've been garbage for a 15 years for the Knicks.
Dude. Long time.
Since, like, the Jordan era, the Knicks have been garbage. The Suns, the Suns have been terrible since Stoudemire and Nash. I mean, it's been at least a decade. JC says gambler's fallacy on Forgotten Souls. They have been terrible for 10 years, though. I don't know.
I'm not quite
Everybody's on Devin Booker. Devin Booker over him for sure.
Yeah.
Swiderski, that's your new name, by the way. It's not
Swiderski.
It's not Massage. It's just Swiderski. Swiderski says hate Jordan for that. Yeah. By the way, real quick. We need your decision-making power here. We got this Jordan. Jake and I collect Jordans. There it is. This is the Jordan 1 Ultra Royal. Hyper Royal.
Yeah.
To me, it looks denim. I mean, nice enough shoe, gray bottom. Like it's got this super comfortable tongue on it. Jake loves this shoe.
Yeah.
I hate this shoe. I don't hate it. That's not true. I don't hate it. It doesn't have the Air Jordan tongue, though. It's just got like the Nike tongue on it. There's no Jordan logo on the back of it. Like and it looks denim. Do you guys like this shoe? I have 2 pairs in a size. I wear a size 15. I sold the first pair I got yesterday. I sold for $350 in about 8 seconds. So thumbs up, thumbs down on the Jordan. You love that
I love it,
shoe.
dude. I'm wearing it right now. I love it. I think it's a beautiful shoe.
Swiderski says a little too light. I agree. Forgotten Soul says looks like the old retro Lakers jersey. Yes, it does.
Totally.
Yes, it does.
Totally. That's a good poll. Good poll.
Nielsen says, I think Mitchell, although Booker has more efficient shooting efficient season than him, Donovan still has showed more to me, especially in his rookie year playoff run. Well, the bubble, he was unbelievable.
Yeah, the thing that Donovan has over Devin is playoff experience.
Yes.
There's no question about that. Yeah.
All right, let's. We got to roll a little bit here because real quick on the Rockets situation. I don't know how many people saw this. Sterling Brown, the Rockets guard. They're in Miami for a back-to-back Sunday night, Monday night, flying out Monday night. They play the game Sunday. Sunday night, they decide to go, of course, during COVID, to a strip club. Apparently, Sterling Brown, they go in the strip club. I'm sure he gets, the tenderloin and the beef curtains and all that stuff. Anyway, he comes out of the strip club, Sterling Brown, and he gets into the wrong car.
How is that even possible?
Don't know. He gets into the wrong car, and the guys in the car did not enjoy the fact that Sterling Brown was in their car, so they took a liquor bottle and beat him within an inch of his life. Sterling Brown was in the hospital for a couple of days. His face is just apparently mangled. He has got several huge gashes on his face. Kevin Porter Jr. tried to get in that same car and pull Sterling Brown out. He was also beaten. And here's my question, and this is just me. What are you doing in a strip club? A, ever. B, as an NBA player, have you not learned from the sins of the past of all these guys that have gone to strip clubs and gotten in trouble? And why are you a terrible basketball team? Oh, it's because on a Sunday night before a Monday night game, you're in the strip club in the middle of the night getting your ass kicked because you somehow got into the wrong car to go back to the team hotel. And this wasn't one player, this was multiple players. And do I need to remind you about Kevin Porter Jr.'s history? This guy never played a game for the Cavs because he pitched a hizzy over them changing his locker location. He was arrested and the charges were later dropped for an illegal gun charge in marijuana as well as driving without a license. So the Cavs traded him to the Rockets, who gave him an opportunity after he transferred to Arizona State, got in trouble at Arizona State, got in trouble with the Cavs. The Rockets give you an opportunity so you repay them by going to the strip club and watching Sterling Brown get beaten within an inch of his life. You want to know why the Houston Rockets are terrible? This is exactly why they're terrible. Oh, by the way, not only did Kevin Porter Jr. not play because he got beaten in this fight, now he's suspended for COVID protocol, so he cannot play and he's not getting paid for the games he's missing because he went to a strip club on a Sunday night during coronavirus.
I started having second thoughts.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, it goes without saying that all of this is just really stupid. I don't have a ton to say just because it's very simple. Like, this is a really stupid thing by really young players. Just the whole thing is dumb. That's as simple as it is.
And you know what? Ian actually makes a good point. James Harden instilled a strip club culture and then dipped. We know James Harden from Arizona. Mm-hmm. That's a strip club guy, right? Swiderski says, I agree. Unprofessional, should get big fines from the NBA. If I'm the Rockets, I'm sitting Kevin Porter Jr. the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Like, at what point does the message get through, kid? You should have been a first-round pick. Kevin Porter Jr. is talented enough to have been a lottery pick, but he couldn't stay out of trouble in college, so he didn't get drafted. If memory serves, he didn't get drafted.
Needs a no guy.
Absolutely. You know who he is? He's Josh Jackson.
Yeah.
And now what happened to Josh Jackson?
He disappeared, and he's playing well.
And he got in a huge fight at a country music or a rap concert in Miami. The Suns trade him. He winds up in the G League, grows up, and now he's playing really well for the Detroit Pistons. Kevin Porter Jr. needs to go through the same thing. All right. Make sure you give us a thumbs up. If you're here on YouTube, please thumbs up. Give us a subscribe, and let's get into LeBron James. This is a huge issue. I understand the shooting in Columbus, Ohio, and I want to make sure that we're all on the same page with this. The shooting in Columbus, Ohio was terrible. And if you don't know this story, let me tell it to you very quickly. And yes, this revolves around the NBA. George Floyd, the verdict comes down. Officer Chauvin, convicted of murder, all 3 charges, facing 40 years. 2 hours later in Columbus, Ohio, A young black girl, 16-year-old teenager, and her family are having a massive brawl on their driveway, to which somebody called the cops. A white officer pulls up from the Columbus Police Department. When he pulls up, the body cam footage and the dash cam footage from the car, they released it. He pulls up, and the first thing he sees is a black woman beating another black woman, throwing that woman to the ground. A man walking up and kicking that woman in the ribs and then kicking that woman in the back of the head. Immediately, the cop turns his head to see the woman who had thrown that girl on the ground was now engaged with another woman, and she had a knife in her hand. He's yelling at them to get down and stop. The girl doesn't stop. She has the knife in her hand, and she's swinging it towards another woman. The cop fired 4 shots into the girl, who turned out to be a 16-year-old teenager, and she died of her wounds. Terrible shooting. But we now know from the police body cam footage, eyewitness accounts, that the shooting has been ruled legit, and it looks like there will be no charges out of that shooting. That wasn't good enough for LeBron James, because LeBron took to Twitter and called out this policeman by name and said that justice was coming. And he put an emoji of an hourglass with the sand running through it. Mm-hmm. Many people took that to mean that he was threatening that cop's life. LeBron later deleted the tweet. Okay, so he did the right thing, right? Like, he deleted the tweet.
Well, as soon as you delete the tweet, you know you're in trouble.
He deleted the tweet.
Yeah.
Well, he deleted the tweet because the body cam footage got released. And in the body cam footage, it very clearly painted a different picture than LeBron painted. LeBron said, quote, after he deleted the tweet, which said, to be exact, "You're next," hashtag accountability with that hourglass emoji. Mm-hmm. He deleted it and said, "I'm so damn tired of seeing black people killed by the police. I took the tweet down because it's being used to create more hate. This isn't about one officer. It's about the entire system, and they always use our words to create more racism. I'm so desperate for more accountability." You're an embarrassment, LeBron. What you did here was you created and you incited violence against a legitimate police officer who was doing his job, and based on the dash cam, the body camera footage, and the 911 tape, he handled himself professionally, within police regulations, within the laws of the United States. Does anybody like the outcome that a 16-year-old teenager is dead? And I don't care if she's black, white, or Latino, or Asian, or I don't care. She's a 16-year-old teenager who's now dead. Am I happy with that outcome? Absolutely, I'm not. I'm not happy about that. Is the cop wrong for shooting her? He's not. And LeBron James, your biggest mistake here is you haven't apologized yet. Because what you did is you incited violence and protests. You incited the dousing of this police officer where his name and address were released. This cop did nothing wrong. He acted within the law. He acted within his duty. He's been essentially cleared of all wrongdoing in this case. The neighbors who were on the driveway when he shot the woman agree with the cop. Her family now has stopped talking to the media after the body cam footage was released when they were saying that she was an innocent 16-year-old girl. Well, whether she was 16 or 26 or 56, she was standing on her driveway swinging a knife at other human beings after she was told to stop. A cop has the duty to protect himself and an other third party against a violent attack. What should he have done?
What would we be saying if he did nothing and the other person died?
What would we be saying if she had stabbed that woman and the cop was like, well, I didn't want to shoot her? It's a no-win situation for the cop. So LeBron, you dick, calling him out by name and saying, you're next? What exactly were you trying to do there? And why then delete the tweet, not apologize, and play the race card and say you're tired of black people being shot by cops? Everybody's tired of black people being shot by cops, genius. The issue is that LeBron James, again, has failed to realize that he is somebody with enormous influence. And you know the worst part of this whole thing? You did exactly what you've accused many people of doing, including Donald Trump, who you accused of this exact thing. And I am no Trump apologist. If you've watched this show at all, you know that. But let's call a hypocrite a hypocrite. What you did is you just threw it out there without knowing the facts. You created violence and a culture of anger. You perpetuated the race wars in this country, which is exactly what you said Donald Trump was doing. Has LeBron apologized for that? He's not. Has he been held to account for that? He's not. Will LeBron James be held accountable for the heinous tweet that he put out, then deleted and only compounded the problem with further tweets? No, he won't, because he's black, he's wealthy, and he plays basketball at a very high level. Mm-hmm. That's why LeBron James won't be held accountable when he should be. And in my opinion, all he needs to do is say, you know what, I got this wrong. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. And this whole thing comes to an end. But he won't do that.
Yeah, and I think that it's funny, we've been talking about a lot of different guys acting on emotion, because this is what stands out to me. Whether we're talking about, social injustice, or we're talking about, guys doing dumb things on social media overall, typically what happens is they get angry, they then act on that emotion, they then regret what they said. So when I look at LeBron, I look at the Kevin Durant situation that happened where he dropped those slurs. I could go to a number of different situations. These guys are not disciplined enough with their emotions to not say anything, right? Or say, if you are going to say something that can't be taken apart or misconstrued or anything like that.
But why? And the other thing is here, all this did, like doxing this police officer,
it furthers the narrative that the Black Lives Matter movement is full of hate and is full of people who just want to destroy stuff. That's what it does.
His original tweet led to the doxing of that cop.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, doxing means that you put his name, his home phone number, or his home address, rather, and his phone number.
Hey, let's go burn the guy's house down.
Yeah, personal information. This guy has gotten a mountain full of death threats. And the thing that really bothers me, and this came out of the LeBron original tweet, if you read the comments, people are comparing this cop in Columbus to the Brooklyn Center cop in Minneapolis, who shot the black kid, saying, "Oh, I thought I pulled my taser out." Well, what happened to the cop that shot the black kid in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota? She got arrested. She's criminally charged with murdering that kid. This cop in Columbus did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
And LeBron didn't take the time to watch the video. And I don't know. It is what it is.
It's childish. Right. That's what it is, dude. It's disappointing for sure.
A mountain of comments on this. Sean says, good morning, Sean. He says, you know what? I'm glad he decided to erase it and explain, because not many athletes would have done that. He didn't even say he was wrong. Think about it. They run into danger every call. They expect the unexpected. I mean, I just don't know what you want this cop to do.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right? And we can all sit here. And it's funny, my wife just walked into the room, and we had like a 20-minute conversation about this. And frankly, I'm worn out on the police shooting thing. We can all sit here and say, oh, well, he should have used a taser, and oh, he shouldn't have. That's not how cops are trained right now. And yes, we can have a conversation about less lethal, and that's not how these cops are trained right now. You're rolling up to a chaotic situation where you're watching a girl on the ground be kicked in the head, kicked in the ribs, and this woman has a knife. And she's swinging it at the girl on the ground. She then lunges at a girl she's got pinned against a car. The cop is yelling at her to stop. He's not even there based on her action. She doesn't even know he's there. He's yelling at her. What was he supposed to do?
Apparently not save the other person's life. Apparently.
Yeah, I don't know. Brandon Whiteside said, Jake, teach him the word doxing, not dousing. Did I say dousing?
No, you said doxing.
Well, I apologize if I misspoke. Swiderski says he should and he did because he is a coward. Accusations without evidence, no honor to say sorry. I agree. It is completely cowardice not to apologize for this.
The thing that I struggle with is that this whole the Chauvin verdict started this narrative about accountability, which I agree with. I think that there needs to be accountability. My problem is that you can't, if you're, again, and this is because of his stature. Nobody cares about Jimmy in Topeka, Kansas. Nobody cares about that.
Nobody.
But because you're LeBron James, because you are who you are, you can't just run out there and threaten, and tweet from a place of anger and violence and all this stuff. You can't do that. You can't have that sentiment. What you should have done here, the really wise thing to have done here, after you sent the tweet and realized you made a mistake, would have been to say, hey, I want accountability, and that's why I'm going to be accountable. I messed this up. Like, I made a mistake. I acted on emotion instead of acting on the situation. And I think that would have done wonders to for him to gain his respect back. But I think he's too prideful right now.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Jim says, this might be the best show you guys have ever done. You're actually ripping LeBron instead of kissing his ass. Well, if you listen to the show,
it's case by case, bro.
Yeah, we call it how we see it. Are we talking basketball? He's one of the best basketball players in the world. Are we talking about philanthropy and philanthropic endeavors? LeBron's one of the best philanthropists in the world. When it comes to tweeting about the cop shooting in Columbus, he's a coward, he's a liar, and he needs to apologize.
Yeah.
It is very simple.
Yeah.
Tevin says, I don't understand white guys talking about black issues. This cop situation is not a one-off. This happens every single day. The issue is he wouldn't have shot a white girl with a knife, but he did shoot this girl because she's black.
How are you saying that?
Tevin,
How do you know?
That's a ridiculous
How do you know?
That's completely ridiculous.
Seriously, what fact do you have to say, or proof do you have to say that he wouldn't have shot a white girl who was trying to stab somebody? That's just a completely ridiculous take. You want to say that you want to say that black kid who had his hands up in the alley, if he was white, they wouldn't have shot him? Okay, you got to take
we
there.
Can talk about
you
that.
have a take there. I would agree with that. But this girl has someone pinned against a car. She doesn't have a small knife. I'd like to point that out. This isn't like some little tiny pocket knife she's got.
It was clearly visible.
It was a big knife that she had in a power position with the intent to hurt somebody. And she was about to do that.
It was a violent, chaotic situation.
But
from the moment he rolled up.
The chaotic thing, though, I agree with that. But with all due respect, cops are trained to deal with chaotic situations.
But
so
the reason I say that is when, what do you have? You have violence, chaos, and weapons in plain sight. Mm-hmm. You have somebody whose life is clearly in danger. He just watched another girl get kicked in the head and kicked in the ribs, and now he's watching a girl with a large knife, and I don't care what her ethnicity is. She's a large woman with a knife trying to stab another woman. He's going to shoot her. You're either going to comply or you're going to get shot in that situation. Very simple.
Yeah, and that's why I say I love the people who are like, well, you guys aren't black, so you can't comment. Well, I disagree with that. I'm looking at this video and saying, hey, let's look at what happened. We're fortunate enough in this situation, the entire thing is on tape. We don't have to guess. We don't have to wonder. The whole thing is on tape. It is very X's and O's in a situation of what should have gone down.
If you want to ask if Derek Chauvin, the cop in Minneapolis that was convicted of murdering George Floyd, if George Floyd had been white, if that had been a white George Floyd,
that would have never happened.
He wouldn't have knelt on his neck.
It would have never happened.
Minutes. It wouldn't have.
That's the truth.
It would not have happened. This situation in Columbus, I just don't see how it ends any different because of the chain of events.
And you know what the truth of the matter is? The problem here is that when LeBron tweets what he tweeted, it ruins the credibility of the black community's stance on police brutality, because what they're doing and what LeBron specifically did yesterday is he painted with a very broad brush, and you cannot do that. That is unacceptable if you're LeBron James.
We have to stop making these things black versus white. Take the evidence as it comes. George Floyd was a racially motivated murder, in my opinion. You look at the shooting in Chicago in that alley. I think it was a black kid. There was a call, and if you don't know this story, an officer shot a black kid who had his hands up and didn't have a gun in his hand, even though there was a gun in the area. But there was a call where there were shots fired and there was a gun seen. I think that was a white cop who showed up in a black neighborhood, saw a black kid running down an alley, and he shot him because that was a white guy who was scared of what was going to happen with that black guy.
And that's a problem. That's a problem.
And it's a uniquely Chicago problem. Gun violence in Chicago is a huge problem. I think you have to take it case by case. And by the way, if white people aren't allowed to talk about black issues, we're never going to advance beyond where we are right now. Yeah. White people will live on the left. Black people will live on the right. Latinos will live up north. The Asians will live down south, and we'll all live happily ever. That's exactly where we are in this country. Do you realize that? That we got to stop with the south side of Chicago is a black neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
We have to stop that. We have to find a way to coexist. We don't have to love each other or even be friends. We should be able to walk down the same side of the street without being fearful or without being insecure. Mm-hmm. Those are racially based feelings. And until we weed that out and we become one, this stuff's going to continue to happen. Please don't, there's comments, and I'm not even going to read them in the YouTube section about this is why we need to eliminate police departments. You're an idiot. We don't need to eliminate police departments. Anyway, all right, let me read some of these comments. Forgotten Souls says, in law enforcement, there's a triangle of force. Cops are supposed to match the level of lethality. Lethality. The girl was trying to kill someone, which is lethal force. The cop matched. I agree with that. Absolutely. He says some people don't react to tasers. Yeah, absolutely.
But I don't, even in that situation, the taser, I don't believe would have acted fast enough. Like, I don't think that she's at knife point about to stab her, and you want to run a taser out there. I don't think that would have been a thing.
By science, we know that tasers impact people differently. Some people drop, they stiffen up like a board, and they hit the ground. Other people, it has no impact on them.
Yeah.
And it's based on, it's based on, a lot of people tell you it's based on what they've eaten and had to drink. Are they drunk? Are they high? What I'm telling you is exactly what Forgotten Souls said. She was about to murder somebody. So she got murdered. She got shot. She was going to stab somebody and probably kill them. She got shot. That's their job. There's no gray area. Sean says, he does a lot for his community, but you guys aren't wrong. LeBron James does a tremendous amount for Akron.
It's not a thing to take down the entire body of work that LeBron has done. But again, this is the nature of being LeBron James. You don't have room for error. You don't. You can't
with your words.
Yeah, you can't.
That tweet will live forever.
Yeah, now
forever. And you know what this does? The worst part about this is this makes Laura Ingraham right.
Yeah, perpetuates that whole thing, and that's
shut
the
up
problem,
and dribble
dude.
thing. It brings that back to life. It undoes. Nobody's talking about LeBron, the charitable school owner who's sending kids to college. They're talking about LeBron, the idiot who tweeted and didn't know what he was talking about.
Yeah,
it's frustrating. Giggity says, if white guys don't talk black guy issues, things will never change. What a dumb thing to say. Great show as always. Appreciate that. And I'm just going to move on because I'm really, frankly, I'm pissed off. It's weird. Like this particular thing really bothered me. So let's talk about the most overrated foods in the world. After you hit thumbs up, don't start. After you hit thumbs up and subscribe on our YouTube channel, I'm just going to say it.
Don't.
Bacon is the most overrated food in the world.
Oh, shit. Damn, I am tripping.
You're tripping, bro.
I'm not tripping, bro.
You're tripping.
I'm not tripping, bro. I'm not. Look, I like bacon. It's terrible for you.
Okay, it doesn't matter, terrible or not. That's not...
Well,
that's not the discussion, right?
Look, anytime you're going to eat a pig's ass, it's terrible for you.
Here we go.
Okay? Now, bacon's not a pig's ass. That's
not.
A hot dog. It's pig belly. But... I sent you an article last night that says simple food hacks make bacon chewy and crispy at the same time. Bacon's overrated. Okay?
Why?
Because it's not peanut butter. What makes bacon better? When you put peanut butter on it, right?
But that's anything.
No, not particularly. Do you put ketchup on a steak at Mastro's? I would.
Yeah.
But I don't. And you know why? Because it's perfectly beautiful without ketchup on it, right? It's salad. Why is salad... Nobody just picks up salad and they're like, oh, man, let me eat this plain-ass leaf of green lettuce and stuff.
Yeah.
No, you got to put tomatoes and you got to put cucumbers to hide your hate and your insecurities as a human about being a rabbit, because nobody wants to be a rabbit, which is why you don't eat lettuce without salad dressing, because who wants to be a rabbit? The point is, It's just the best I could do.
Mm-hmm.
The point is, bacon's overrated. I understand it's good. It
Dude.
makes the thing is, it makes sandwiches better.
Bro, the reason I disagree about bacon is because it's one of the most versatile foods we have. You can eat it on its own. You can what?
Swiderski.
Here we go.
I believe Swiderski.
You're like moaning in the middle of my comment.
Swiderski.
Like, come on, guy.
I believe Swiderski is now one of my favorite viewers.
Okay.
Prosciutto is better. Yes! Okay, I feel better. My wife hates when I yell like that. It is better. I agree.
Dude.
The
only reason...
Shay Jazz fan says, I'm a vegetarian. By the way, so is my wife. Mighty Rihanna says, however, bacon is not the most overrated Air Max 90 kicks, especially when they are free.
Wow.
And by the way, there's a bag of bacon bits right there that Nike sent me with my free Air Max 90 bacons. Thank you, Mighty Rihanna. Gabe Ledley says, if bacon is overrated, I'll go ahead and take those Air Max 90s off your hands.
See, you bring up bacon, and this is what happens.
As a shoe, bacon is not overrated. It's not. What's your favorite? Just give me one favorite. Just tell me right now in the comment section. Just tell me your favorite food. Jake, what is your favorite food?
Mac and cheese all day, not even close.
Yeah, not even close.
Not even close.
Mac and cheese with bacon?
Yes.
No.
Not all the time.
Thank you. Bacon,
not all the time.
And why is that? Because bacon's overrated.
No, it's not.
My favorite food. All food is my favorite. Well, because I'm fat. But I think it's very difficult to beat a really good lasagna. Lasagna, move in silence like a G in lasagna. Lasagna. I'm Italian. Where's the Italian? I'm right here. I'm Italian, Irish, Polish. You know. I think lasagna is probably my favorite food. Although this is going to sound crazy, the chicken salads I'm making for lunch right now are unbelievable.
Oh! My mind is blown!
Because if you go to Costco and you get the salad bowl, but you also pick up a bag of their shredded rotisserie chicken, put the chicken in there, you put some tomatoes, some cucumbers, some carrots. I actually like raw carrots now. No bacon. And then you put Thousand Island or Italian dressing. I mean, what is there not to like?
Excellent strategy, sir.
I mean, I have to think hot dog sandwiches are higher on my list.
Oh, my God. Don't start it again. Is a hot dog a sandwich? You just started it.
Oh, giggity.
You just started it.
Giggity says crispy chicken wings.
Air fry, bro.
Air fryer chicken wings.
Yeah.
Ian says hot wings with blue cheese. Okay, Ian.
Okay.
How do you block people on YouTube? We don't eat blue cheese in this house ever.
Nah.
Okay, we are not sinners.
Who has the best ranch? Because Wingstop has amazing ranch. Cheesecake Factory has bomb ranch.
I'm not done ripping blue cheese yet, please.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Anyway, I don't eat moldy food. I hate blue cheese, but wings are amazing. Who has the best ranch? You know, Harmon's makes a jar of ranch, and I don't know who the brand is. I like a creamy ranch. I don't like Hidden Valley Ranch. No, it should be hidden in a valley so nobody ever has to eat it. Wingstop's ranch is fantastic.
Excellent.
Buttermilk Ranch, amazing.
Excellent.
Amazing. Ian says lost a viewer, LOL. Outback Ranch is amazing, Ian. I agree with you on that. Mighty Rhiannon says Cinnabon is my favorite food. My God.
Dude. How long has it been since you had Cinnabon? I haven't had Cinnabon in a long time, dude.
My wife is doing a great job of keeping me accountable. And then yesterday at like 3 o'clock, what did she do? She brings me a scoop of vanilla bean ice cream in the middle of the day.
What would I do without you?
What would I do without her? Because she knows that I don't try to eat carbs after 4 o'clock. So she brings me in at 3 o'clock. Swiderski says seafood, I love shrimp. I like,
shrimp on steak is...
My wife had some amazing cod at Mastro's the other night, or what was it? Whitefish, swordfish, cod, whatever it was. Halibut. Thank you.
Thank you.
She had halibut the other night that was amazing. I'm a big sushi eater. Spicy tuna. I like tuna of all kind. I like halibut, cod, halibut, shrimp. Yeah, some seafood. Seafood need it. Swiderski says great wife. Yeah, I know. Trust me, I know. Just ask her; she'll tell you.
From the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
The double wife does what she wants. Eric C says, let's go Jazz and come on Padres, beat LA today. Vamos Aston. Okay, no, we don't talk about Aston Villa on this, although we should.
That's right. They're playing the Dodgers today.
Yes. John Terry, my guy, the best, the captain, number 26 for my R&B.
Yeah, we get it. Right.
Chelsea Football Club, forever blue. Hopefully he manages the Blues one day. Hopefully. Don Wynn says LeBron, he got brain of 5-year-old kid. He just opened his dirty mouth for stupid statement, making people disgrace him. He is disgusted person. Okay, however long you want to say, Gabe says crispy wings, but only if they're flats. See, Jake?
Dude, I'm not a flats guy.
Yes, you.
No, I'm not.
Physiologically, it's a non-starter.
Not for you, it's not.
Dude,
okay, so
I'm not a flats guy. Stop.
You are.
I'm not. You perpetuated this lie.
Look, LeBron,
you're acting like the Kremlin right now, bro.
No, you like flats.
No, I don't.
I only eat flats because they're there. I am a drumette guy. When we order Wingstop wings and you eat like 3 of them because you have a stomach the size of a thimble.
What do you bench?
$225. I am a wings. I'm an all drums guy. If you order wings and you don't say all drums, you're not really a man. Put your balls in a jar and hand them to the waitress because I'm telling you, real men only eat all drums. Unless you're eating tenders and then it's a whole different order. But my point is, real men eat all drums.
That's quite enough. We get it.
You know what I'm saying? Mighty Rhiannon says no flats, no blue cheese. My man.
Thank you.
Chan Thuruk. Okay, cool story, bro. Says flats suck. Yes, they do. And that's why Jake likes them.
Yeah, more slurping.
Slurp them. Ian says, hey, guys, have you ever considered live streams during games? There's only so many hours in the day. Yeah. Never mind that we work at the Yelpatory. Never mind that we have all of our side hustles. This is the only time of day. And then at night, my wife doesn't let me sit. I have to do the honey-do list. I have to, clean and vacuum and dust and knob and polish. And
what now? Let me tell you what now.
She gets medieval on that ass. Anyway, the point is...
Yes.
No,
yes.
The funny thing is, this is not a drug-induced euphoria. It's just how I am.
Here's what's going to happen, Tonto.
Exactly right. Shay wants to know where the Kobe is. The Kobe's right there.
It's right there on the wall, bro.
The Kobe's
on
the wall,
man.
The green apple. I don't know. Anyway, what was the last? Oh, the contract. Before we get out of here, we got to.
This is
My wife should probably leave the room. So 2 months ago, we started a project to renovate 2 small bathrooms. I own a townhouse. I don't have extravagant bathrooms anymore. I spend too much money on shoes. So we hire a guy who we come in and we have him do a bid. Mm-hmm. Hey, I can do X, Y, and Z. It'll take me a week to do these 2 bathrooms.
I doubt that.
It'll be $5,000. All right, cool, perfect. They're just all we're doing is tile and vanities and stone. All right, perfect. Right? He's like, for this one, it'll be $5,000. For this one, it'll be $4,000 total. Let's do $10,000 out the door, round number. Okay, great, we're good. When can you start? I'll be here Monday. Okay, great. Right away, I said to myself, yeah, he's available, which probably means I shouldn't. My wife and I deliberated on this all weekend long. And we both kind of agreed, well, if he's available, everybody else was like, yeah, we'll see you in 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy's like, oh, yeah, I'm available. We were like, okay, fine, let's do it. Shows up Monday, right on time. 8 a.m., tears the house apart for 2 days. Okay, cool. And then nothing.
Mm-hmm.
For 3 days. Okay. And then on Thursday and Friday, the tile guys show up, crushed it. Laid all the tile, amazing. And then nothing. And then 4 days later, they show up with cabinets. And it was, wait, let me reverse. They were supposed to show up with cabinets. Oh, but the order and the delay, and it's in Wyoming, and your mom, and... Okay, when are you going to be here? They'll be here Thursday. Okay, my mother-in-law's coming in town. You said this would be done. She's going to be here on Saturday. You're going to have this done, right? This is Easter weekend. Oh, yeah, Thursday.
I doubt that.
Thursday, Friday, bing, bada boom, bada bing, bacon for everybody. All right, cool. Not Thursday. Not Friday. He's like, well, they're in Wyoming. We could show up Saturday morning. I'm like, nah, bro, let's just do it Monday. Okay, cool. Shows up Monday. Okay, cool. Guy builds the cabinets. They're way oversized. So much so, if you're burning a deuce on the toilet, you're sitting on your throne, taking the Browns to the Super Bowl, kids to the pool, you have no elbow room. You have nowhere to put a toilet paper roll because these cabinets are the size of my... Anyway.
I'll try to stay calm and not curse.
I will try to say... Anyway, so we say to the guy, hey, bro, did you see these cabinets you ordered? Yeah, they're beautiful. They're amazing wood and stuff.
Hey, look here, man.
I'm like, okay, stop all work. Come over here. Don't send anybody else to my house until you come meet with me. He shows up. He's like, right. My wife is yelling in the background because she's upset. She hasn't cursed yet, though. Anyway, the point is, so he shows up and he's like, oh, my friend died. My dog kicked it. I had surgery. I'm late for a few weeks. I'm like, hey, man.
I don't give a baker's fuck
about your surgery, sir. So he shows up, and I'm like, hey, the door's going in the wrong direction. By the way, did you notice they nailed these drawers shut? He's like, yeah, we nailed them shut because they don't fit past the pipe. I'm like, hey, man, these are way too big. Oh, we'll cut them in half. I'm like, dude, seriously. I'm not joking. He's like, oh, we'll cut them. We'll cut them down. It'll fit fine. I'm like, hey, man, we need different cabinets, and they need to be this size, this height.
Like measured and cut to the size that they were supposed to be cut to.
And so then he stops and he's like, yeah, you know what? And it was a moment of clarity.
Accountability.
He's like, you know what? We got this wrong. We're going to make it right. I'm going to order you new cabinets. Okay, cool. How long will it be?
I doubt that.
How long will it be? It'll be another week. I'm like, okay, cool. They'll fit. And by the way, the shower glass guy is, 5 days late. It's been almost 3 weeks since he measured. When's he coming? Oh, he'll be here today. It'll look amazing, frameless and stuff. Okay, cool. The guy texts me and he's like, the shower glass will be installed today. So I text the shower glass guy whose number I have because he texted me to measure. And I said, hey, what's up with this? And he goes, oh, yeah, they're the tempered the machine that tempers the glass is broken. It's going to be another week. So I text the contractor. I'm like, you said they'd be here today. And he goes, oh, well, my dog and, chapped ass and stuff. Like all these excuses. So finally another week goes by and the shower glass guy does not text me. And then one day texts me and he's like, hey, I'll be there in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Shows up, puts the door in. They look great, only there's no, water guard on the door, so the water will come out. Oh, they'll be here Monday and next Thursday, and they haven't still showed up. So they come, they install the cabinets. What's today? Thursday? Tuesday, they install the cabinets. And they're just fucking wrong. They installed them crooked. The trim's not done right. This guy who installed these cabinets, I have 5-inch baseboard in my bathrooms. It looks like he brought his pet beaver with him, and the beaver fucking gnawed the baseboard. Was like, ah, so that the cabinet door would open and close.
You see, I'm a guy of simple taste.
And then he just left. He didn't say, okay, hey, I'm done. You want to come look at my work? No, he just left.
Yeah, I'd just leave too.
So my wife goes up there and she melts down. She's like, this is terrible. I go up there, and so I text the contractor on Tuesday, and I'm like, dude, this is terrible. This is really bad. You need to fix this. Come on, are you going to be here tomorrow morning? He's like, yes, we'll look at it. The guy shows up yesterday morning, and he straight up said, yeah, this is not good. This is not. And he's like, and I'm like, hey, where have you been? I've been trying to get in touch with this guy. He blew me off last Friday. My contractor has the chutzpah to say, well, I actually had vasectomy reversal surgery on Friday.
Bro.
Okay, you've been on my job for less than 2 months and you've had multiple surgeries. And now you're telling me that he's like, I want more kids, so I had to have vasectomy reversal surgery.
Can you measure it?
I'm like, hey, man, do you know what TMI is? And we laughed. And then I took him into the bathroom. He's like, oh, yeah. Well, okay, that came out wrong.
Wow.
We went and looked at the bathroom cabinets together. We went and looked at the bathroom cabinets together. And he was like, oh, his first words were, oh, wow. I'm like, yeah, oh, wow. Because the cabinet is like...
It's a joke.
Because they didn't put a spacer between the wall and the cabinet to make sure it fit by the... Anyway, so then his cabinet guy comes back, completely redoes the cabinet, and they put him in right. So the cabinets look really good. The door on the cabinet we had him put on the wall, now they fixed it. They had put it on backwards, drilled a bunch of holes in it, scratched it up, took that door off, put a brand new door on there. Like, now it looks good. But then Tuesday night, out of the blue, we're sitting on the couch, chilling at the cut, and what do we get? Like, there's a knock on the door.
Suckmyass.com.
I'm like, bro, who's coming to my door?
It's 8:30, dog. What are you doing here?
It's the granite guy. The
What is he doing there at that time of night?
Hey, I'm here to template. I'm like, hey, man, it's too late. We're not doing this.
Get the hell out of here, bro.
Can you come back tomorrow? He's like, yeah, sure, no problem. I kind of thought it was too late. How about 9 o'clock tomorrow morning? I'm like, perfect. The guy shows up yesterday morning at 9 o'clock. Or actually, it was like 10:30, 11, maybe 1 o'clock.
Whenever he wants to, because that's how they do jobs now.
Well, they were fixing the cabinets.
Yeah, whatever.
And he says to me, hey, my wife goes up there. She comes down. She's like, I don't think this is Oceana quartz. We ordered Oceana quartz for our counters. So I go up there. I talk to the guy. It is Oceana quartz. But he's like, I just want you to know, like, we're not using a full slab on this. We're using remnants, extra pieces, which is fine. And he's like, hey, by the way, your contractors, and I said to the guy, hey, I want you to understand something. It's nothing personal. You and I don't know each other. So when I say it's not personal, you'll believe me, right? And I said to him, hey, are you any good at this job? Because this project has been a disaster. And he's like, yeah, I know, your contractor's really nice, but he's too busy. He's like, yeah, I'll be back in a week, and your stone will be done, and we'll put it all in. It won't be Friday like the contractor said.
Typical.
So the bottom line is, when your contractor's available, he's probably not available, and that's what mine is. I'm not going to pay him any more money, and he's essentially said, yeah, we're just going to finish the job, and, you know. Anyway, Swiderski says, yeah, bad luck. Yeah, time and nerves. Maybe next time change the contractor. Thanks for the advice, Swiderski.
Nice job, bud. Thank you.
Make sure you hit thumbs up. Give us a subscribe here on YouTube. When we get to 500 subscribers, we're going to give away an Xbox S Series. Everybody who's subscribed at that point, whether you were number 1 or number 500, you're eligible. We'll explain that once we get to 400. Until tomorrow, say, love you, Swiderski.
Love you, Swiderski.